Shocking headlines. The President extends heartfelt wishes to the President and Prime Minister of Palestine on the occasion of the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence of Palestine. The President officially inaugurates the Ramavanta Hospital as a tertiary hospital equipped with modern facilities. And the Maldives and Azerbaijan signs two significant bilateral agreements aimed at strengthening their cooperation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Utma Mahmoud. Looking into the details, President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu has extended heartfelt wishes to President of Palestine, Dr. Mahmoud Abbas, Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mohammed Mustafa, on the occasion of the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence of Palestine. In separate messages, President Dr. Muizzu expressed profound admiration for the resilience and bravery of the Palestinian people in their continued struggle against oppression and injustice. He reaffirmed the Maldives' unwavering support and solidarity with Palestine, reiterating the nation's steadfast commitment to advocating for an independent and sovereign state of Palestine based on the pre-1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as its capital. Concluding his messages, President Dr. Muizzu extended his best wishes for lasting peace, progress and prosperity for the brotherly people of Palestine. Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdullah Halil has reaffirmed the Maldives' steadfast support for the Palestinian people's legitimate pursuit of independence and self-determination. His remarks were conveyed in a message of congratulations to the Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Palestine, Mohammed Mustafa, on the occasion of the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence of the State of Palestine. In his message, the Maldivian minister reiterated that the Maldives remains fully committed to supporting the Palestinian cause. He emphasized the nation's enduring dedication to strengthening the bonds of solidarity and brotherhood between the two countries. Minister Halil further expressed his eagerness to continue working closely with the Palestinian Prime Minister to advance the just cause of Palestine on the international stage. On behalf of the government and people of the Maldives, he extended his best wishes to the Prime Minister, the government and the people of Palestine on the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence of the State of Palestine. The Maldives and Azerbaijan have signed two significant bilateral agreements aimed at strengthening their cooperation. Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Maldives, Dr. Abdullah Halil, and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ceyhun Bayramov, signed the agreements following their meeting in Baku on the sidelines of the UNFCCC Conference of the Parties. The first agreement, titled Agreement on Mutual Exemption of Visa Requirement for Holders of Diplomatic, Service and Official Passports, aims to facilitate travel between the two countries. Once implemented, this exemption will allow Maldivian diplomats and officials to enter, transit through and stay in Azerbaijan for up to 90 days. The two governments also expressed their commitment to considering a broader visa exemption for all Maldivians in the future. The second agreement was a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, on cooperation in the field of tourism, which focuses on promoting mutual tourism development, recognizing the sector's importance to the economic, cultural and social growth of both nations. During their discussions, Minister Halil highlighted the strong bonds of friendship between the Maldives and Azerbaijan, emphasizing the significance of these agreements in further enhancing bilateral relations. The Ramavanta Hospital has been officially opened as a tertiary hospital equipped with modern facilities. Following development, the hospital was inaugurated by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu, announcing the decision to upgrade the Ramavanta Hospital to tertiary status. President Dr. Muizzu highlighted the establishment of all necessary services to maximize its potential. The hospital, located adjacent to Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital IGMH, was originally built during the presidency of the former President Abdullah Yamin. However, its underutilization over the past 5 years led to the deterioration of equipment, requiring significant expenditure for repairs. The government has now refurbished and upgraded the facility to provide advanced healthcare services. As part of the hospital's relaunch, the National Facility Center and a hybrid cath lab were inaugurated, marking major additions to its offerings. Furthermore, the hospital's emergency room has been designed as a specialized ER for children, enhancing pediatric care. In addition to the Dharmavantha Hospital, the government has announced plans to upgrade Hurumale Hospital to tertiary level. Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim has declared that the next 4 years will mark the beginning of a completely new chapter in the Maldivian health system. He made these remarks at the ceremony inaugurating the Dharmavantha Hospital as a tertiary level facility. Reflecting on the hospital's journey, Mr. Nazim noted that the inauguration of the hospital as a tertiary facility now signifies renewed hope and progress. He commended the efforts of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz in addressing key issues within the Maldivian healthcare system. The minister highlighted several initiatives under the president's direct supervision, including strengthening the healthcare system for those who fall ill, promoting preventive measures to build a healthier population, and enhancing governance across the health sector. Mr. Nazim assured the public that the government is committed to resolving long-standing concerns and bringing transformative development to the health sector. He emphasized that over the next 4 years, citizens will witness significant progress both in Male and across the atolls as health services are expanded and strengthened nationwide, including in urban centers. Chief Executive Officer of Male Group of Hospitals, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim, has highlighted that the health care sector in the Maldives is undergoing significant growth and development, with President Dr. Mohamed Muiz placing special emphasis on its improvement. He made the remarks during the official opening of the Dharmavantha Hospital. Speaking at the ceremony, the CEO of Male Group of Hospitals pointed out that the Dharmavantha Hospital had been neglected during the previous administration, with several floors of the 25-story building left unused and expensive equipment damaged due to lack of maintenance. He specifically noted that the hybrid catheter lab and the temperature control system had been left inoperable. He further stated that while many issues were identified, the current administration is committed to addressing these concerns. He emphasized that the necessary repairs would be made and modern healthcare services would be introduced. As such, he noted that 5 floors that had been abandoned have now been renovated and put into full use. In his address, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim commended President Dr. Mohamed Muiz for his optimistic vision for the healthcare sector and his commitment to establishing a state-of-the-art health system, including the realization of the long-promised fertility center in the country. Ministry of Health has initiated efforts to ensure that smoking cessation treatment is accessible at all health centers, following the government's introduction of a ban on tobacco products, which takes effect starting 15th November.
In a program aired on PSM News, Deputy Minister of Health Ismail Zahir explained that alongside the increased import duties on cigarettes and tobacco products and the ban on vapes and related devices, it is essential to accelerate the availability of smoking cessation services. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz recently ratified the amendment of the Export-Import Act of the Maldives, which modified the import regulations for tobacco products, including prepared tobacco, tobacco alternatives, electronic cigarettes, vaping devices, heated tobacco products and their parts. These amendments have resulted in higher import duties on these items. Additionally, the First Amendment to the Tobacco Control Act enforces a ban on the use of vaping devices and electronic devices. During the program, Deputy Minister Zahir praised the efforts of individuals striving to comply with the law and quit smoking. He emphasized that to support these efforts, the ministry is working to ensure that smoking cessation treatments are widely available at healthcare facilities. Health providers are currently undergoing training to ensure the provision of the treatment effectively. Although the importation of vapes and e-cigarettes is already prohibited, the law will extend to banning the use of such devices starting December 15th. Deputy Director of the Health Protection Agency HPA Hassan Mohammed underscored the necessity of providing counseling and ensure nicotine replacement therapy is easily accessible. He also stressed the need for cooperation among all agencies to successfully implement the new legal amendments. The revised laws also outlined specific penalties for those who violate them. The Health Ministry clarified that these fines are not intended to generate profit for the government, but to strengthen public health efforts and discourage smoking.
Minister of Finance Musa Zamir has announced that the reforms to the subsidy issuing system will be implemented in phases. He made the remarks while addressing the Parliament's Budget Committee. In addition to the Finance Minister, the committee summoned the Governor of Maldives Monetary Authority MMA Ahmad Munawar and the Auditor General Hussein Niaz.
Speaking at the committee, Minister Zamir stated that while the government has introduced significant reforms aimed at reducing the state expenditures, it has placed priority on ensuring that these reforms do not place an undue burden on residents. One of the key reforms outlined is the modification of the health insurance system. State Budget 2025, currently under review in Parliament, proposes extending private insurance packages to families of the Maldives National Defence Force MNDF and the Maldives Police Service MPS, while also aiming to control government spending. Additionally, the reform will allow individuals to access healthcare services under the National Health Insurance Scheme (ASANDA) if their private insurance does not cover all expenses. Regarding the subsidy reforms, Minister Zamir emphasized that these changes are closely tied to the lives of residents, which is why the government decided to implement them gradually. He noted that a testing phase will be part of the process, ensuring a smooth transition. Minister anticipates that the transition of the subsidy system into one which issues subsidies to the residents who need it the most will increase the prosperity of the nation. The first phase of the subsidy system reform is scheduled to begin in April 2025.
Minister of Housing, Land and Urban Development Dr. Ali Haider Ahmed has revealed that the foundation of the 50 housing units to be developed in Rastu Alif Alif Atoll have been laid. He made the remarks during a special ceremony held to lay the foundation of the housing units. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Dr. Haider assured that the housing units will be developed to ensure utmost convenience to all residents. He added that the housing units will be relatively spacious and will address the housing issues facing the island. Highlighting some changes brought to the project, the minister stated that all housing units will be established in one specific area of the island. Previously, plans were made to develop housing units in two parts of the island. The housing units being developed in Rastu will have an area of 1,000 square feet, featuring 3 rooms, 3 toilets, a sitting room, a kitchen, a dining room, a laundry room, and a storeroom. To ensure a better lifestyle and more convenience to those residing in the housing units, the surrounding areas will be lit. Additionally, a parking area will be established for vehicles as well. Rastu is an island with an area of 20 hectares. Housing units were last allocated for residents in Rastu about 25 years ago. Agreements pertaining to the development of the housing units were signed on September 4, 2023, with the project being contracted to Esther Construction Private Limited. The project worth $5.4 million was contracted with an aim of completing it in a 9-month period. Minister of Construction and Infrastructure Dr. Abdullah Muttalib has criticized the previous administration for including numerous island-based projects in the state budget for political gain, aiming to secure re-election. According to the minister, many of these projects were added solely to please residents but lacked sufficient funding for actual implementation, leading to several unresolved issues.
The previous administration included 322 projects in the 2024 state budget with a total estimated cost of $2.5 billion. However, only $233 million was allocated for infrastructure development, leaving a significant funding gap. Minister Dr. Muttalib warned that if this pattern continues, many projects will remain unexecuted for years to come. Minister pointed out that while the previous administration included a high number of projects in the budget, there was insufficient funding to carry them out. He criticized the practice of approving budgets based on political considerations rather than realistic financing planning. This observation was echoed by several parliamentarians who noted that the 2024 budget appeared to be designed to address of re-election. Speaking at a program aired on PSM News, Minister Dr. Muttalib stated that the lack of finances for project in this year's budget posed several challenges to the current administration. The 2025 state budget, however, takes a different approach. Minister Dr. Muttalib stated that it does not include new projects for specific islands in order to focus on completing ongoing projects and addressing the most urgent needs of residents. The upcoming budget allocates a total of $778 million for infrastructure development, including $324 million for large-scale projects supported by international partners, $259 million for ongoing initiatives, and $233 million for planned new projects.
China said on Friday its October industrial output grew 5.3% from a year earlier as the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) data indicated a slowdown from September's pace of 5.4%, missing expectations for 5.6% increase in a Reuters poll.
The data released for the month comes at a time when Chinese policymakers are under more pressure as they brace for the return to the White House of Donald Trump, who has vowed to hike tariffs on Chinese goods and named China hawks to his cabinet in a troubling sign for the world's second biggest economy. Speaking at a news conference in Beijing, NBS spokesperson Fu Linghui said that it will step up policy adjustments and expand domestic demand. Retail sales, a gauge of consumption, rose 4.8% in October, accelerating from 3.2% pace in September and marking the quickest growth since February earlier this year. Retail growth was boosted by a week-long holiday and the annual Singles' Day shopping festival, which kicked off on October 14th, 10 days earlier than last year. Property investment fell 10.3% year-on-year in January to October, deepening from a decline of 10.1% over the first 9 months of the year. Sales narrowed this slump, however, possibly indicating policy stimulus is starting to inject some life into the crisis-hit sector, even if a robust recovery might take some time. Property sales by floor area in the January to October period fell 15.8% from an year earlier, slower than a drop of 17.1% over January to September. In September, China's central bank unveiled its biggest stimulus since the pandemic. Beijing has set a roughly 5% gross domestic product growth target for the year, though a Reuters poll last month forecast the pace to slightly undershoot the goal and slow further to 4.5% in 2025.
Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayaka's leftist coalition won a thumping victory in a snap general election, gaining power to push through his plans to fight poverty in the island nation recovering from a financial meltdown.
Dissanayaka's Marxist-leaning National People's Party (NPP) coalition won 137 seats of 196, for which direct elections were held, a two-thirds majority. The ballot counting showed local media projected its tally would cross 150 in the 225-member parliament after more seats are distributed under a proportional seat distribution system. That would give Dissanayaka sweeping powers to even abolish the contentious executive presidency as he has planned. Analysts said while the clear mandate strengthens political stability in the South Asian country, some uncertainty on policy direction remains due to Dissanayaka's promises to try and tweak the International Monetary Fund rescue program that bailed the country out of its economic crisis. Dissanayaka, a political outsider in a country dominated by family parties for decades, comfortably won the island's presidential election in September. But his coalition had just 3 seats in parliament before the election, prompting him to dissolve it and seek a fresh mandate. The NPP secured almost 62% or almost 7 million votes in the election, up from 42% Dissanayaka won in September, indicating that he had drawn more widespread support, including from minorities, and built on his victory.
Salah Maxim became the first Vendée Globe casualty on Friday, retiring 5 days into the solo non-stop round-the-world race.
The French sailor had been battling a swollen ankle since the second day, an injury sustained while attempting to repair a broken hook and damaged mainsail track. Despite his best efforts, the mainsail issue was deemed irreparable solo, and his injury left him struggling to move safely on board. Sorel sought shelter of Madeira on Thursday night, where he made a final attempt to address the mainsail problem. The VNB Monbana main skipper will now prioritize X-ray and full medical diagnosis. The Vendée Globe is a solo, non-stop and unassisted round-the-world sailing race dubbed the Everest of the Seas. Starting and finishing in France, it covers approximately 24,000 nautical miles, taking skippers through some of the planet's most treacherous waters, including the Southern Ocean and around the notorious Cape of Good Hope. The race started on Sunday with 40 skippers representing 11 nations.
We've had a bit of a busy night with quite a few squalls and no wind and then too much wind and then broaching and then all the fun stuff. And unfortunately we had more pilot troubles again, which is a bit tedious, but we're back up and running now, so we're just on our secondary pilot. It should be okay. And then when the wind comes down, I've been saying that for 2 days now, we'll try and fix them. But yeah, no, everything's under control, and I look forward to for a few less clouds in the sky.
The last Vendée Globe in 2020-21 was won by Frenchman Yannick Besteven in 80 days, 3 hours and 44 minutes. This edition is currently being led by Britain's Sam Goodchild with French Sébastien Simon second and Swiss Justin Matrox third as the fleet passes the Canary Islands.
A diamond-studded necklace thought to be linked to a scandal that has seen the downfall of the doomed 18th century Queen of France, Marie Antoinette, sold at auction in Geneva for 4.26 million Swiss francs or $4.81 million.
According to Sotheby's, the Georgian-era piece containing 300 carats of diamonds fetched more than expected after a lengthy bidding battle, having been valued beforehand at up to 2 million francs. Andres White-Correll, a Sotheby's jewellery specialist, said that there is a niche market for historical jewels after the sale of the necklace to an undisclosed female buyer.
It was an electric night. It was very... It was wonderful to see that the market reacted so well to the things that we were offering, and that there is obviously a niche in the market for historical jewels with fabulous provenances, because I believe that people are not only buying the object, but they're buying all the history that is attached to it.
Sotheby's said this month that some of the diamonds in a piece may have come from a necklace that helped precipitate the fall of Marie Antoinette, a member of the Austrian royal family who became the wife of French King Louis. The jewels in question were at the center of a 1785 scandal known as the Diamond Necklace Affair, in which a hard-up noblewoman named Joan de la Motte pretended to be the French queen and acquired the necklace in her name without payment. A subsequent trial found the queen blameless, but did little to diminish her growing notoriety for extravagance, which helped fuel the revolution and overthrow of the French monarchy. Since the revolution, the Diamond Necklace Affair has inspired several works of literature and films. The diamonds of the original necklace, crafted in the 1770s, were later sold piecemeal on the black market and so are almost impossible to trace. However, some experts say the quality and age of the diamonds point to a match.
That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air application nu tiya befrunna hile balalewen adi aduwa